Live from the Windy C Radio studio in the shops at Iverson, this is the Balancing Act Radio Show, hosted by AJ Throwback, only on WindyCRadio.com, the Windy C Radio app, Facebook Live and YouTube Live on the Windy C Radio pages, and of course, it's all powered by GoWin.media.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, kings and queens, and everybody in between, welcome to the last bars for 2018, ladies and gentlemen. Glad to be here with you on this beautiful but cold Wednesday morning after Christmas. I am AJ Throwback, as I am every single Wednesday, right here with you in the Windy C Radio studios, broadcasting proudly, of course, from the shops at Iverson. Appreciate everybody that is tuned in already. I am sure a lot of y'all today need this hump day motivation. What's going on, Tiffany? I see you watching on Facebook Live. Appreciate everybody on Facebook Live already. Because a lot of people receive those letters from their HR departments, if they hadn't already, saying you have been furloughed. Unfortunately, because of this whole nonsense going on with President Tommy Boy. No, I do not call him by his name. No, he is not my president, but he's still the president, but he ain't mine. But anyway, yeah, so a lot of y'all gonna need this motivation today. We're not gonna spend too much time on that. But anyway, hope everybody enjoyed their Christmas holiday. I know I certainly did with my family. Went over to my mom's house, ate good with, of course, my wife and my son, and got to see my brother and my sister-in-law. My nieces, my nephew, and among many gifts that I got for Christmas. You're looking at one. My brother, ever since I started promoting for the show back in May, he's been teasing me because of my NBA hat selection. Because many of you may know, and a lot of you probably don't know, my brother works for the Sixers. And so, like, he'd see me with a Suns hat in the promo, like, yeah, we gotta change that hat on you, bruh. And of course, I'm gonna wear Wizards hats because of course we're from DC. But one of my favorite hats that I have is a Rockets hat. And so he kept messing with me like, hey, bro, we need to get you a Sixers hat. I was like, hey, send it on. And so lo and behold, just what you see, representing my brother. So shout out to my brother. Also, my brother, he will be on with us April 3rd. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. So make sure y'all tune in for that show. One more thing before we kind of get into what we got going on today. I don't know about anybody else, but I know for me personally, I have an expiration date when it comes to Christmas songs. And it's just a random thought, but I kind of wanted to open the show with that. I have a particular period where I got to listen to Christmas songs. So the day after Thanksgiving at midnight, between then and December 26th at midnight, that's my period of listening to Christmas music. Outside of that, not really interested. You know, I've tried to listen to it outside of that period, but it never really works. But anyway, we definitely have a good show for y'all today. Top 10 favorite albums of 2018. This is a music fest today. We're gonna be talking about music, playing music all day. So definitely tune in for that. I'm going to be reading off of quite a few people who gave their favorite albums of 2018. And it's all genres, not just hip-hop, R&B. I had some jazz in my, what is that thing called? My honorable mentions. I'll mention those after we play some music. Also, we have the top 10. This is our first top 10 for the win year-end countdown. Happening around about 11:30, maybe a little bit after that. So we're going to play the first 5 of the 10 in the first hour, the second half, in the second hour. So it's going to be a music fest today, y'all. So y'all in for a treat today. But anyway, Let's get into some of this music from our best and brightest independent artists. This is Ebony Joy with One in a Million on the official Hump Day Motivation for the DMV and beyond. This is Bars.
I ain't one for the boys. I ain't one for the hoes. I treat him like a dope boy. I'm only there for the blow. Real thug like Wu-Tang. So the real no. That's why when they see me, the bad ones drop it down low, low, low. Pop it for a real one, hey. Pop it like you working at a DOA. Pop it like yo good, and if yo good, then baby won't you come my way with it? Sipping on drink and a fitted. Dress not hat, bitch, class I ain't fitted. Teach you a lesson like I am a reverend. You're blessed in my presence, don't ever forget it. It's true. It's only one of me, and it's a million of you. Are you down or what? Tell me what you trying to do, cause it's only one of me, but it's a million of you. It's a million of you, just a million of you. Rolling through your city like a motherfucking dump truck. Laughing at your trashy ass, then throw you into my dumpster. I ain't got no need for gas, I'm cleaner than a hybrid. Fresher than your side chick, cooler than your main. It's true, it's a million of you. So I move how I move, I swerve my way through, cause that is contagious. I'm dodging these like they got the flu. One touch in my garment, and be thinking that they got the juice. One touch in my garment, be thinking that they got the juice. One in a million like my name is Aaliyah Helen Keller to the book. I don't really see it now. I don't really with it, even never what a boy way too conceited out. Young but I'm ready to learn. When will you see it's my turn? I got next, first in the draft. Call you ET, you should take yours back. It's only one of me, and it's a million of you. Are you down or what? Tell me what you trying to do, cause it's only one of me, but it's a million of you. 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 Cause it's only one of me, but it's a million of you. It's a million of you. Just a million of you.
And said to me, a stroke of love called you. One in a million you. A one in a million you.
Bars on Windy City Radio.
I actually like that take.
When a boss wants you, hey.
She be like, side, yeah, she down for that ride. Give a damn who riding with us. And I ain't got a thing to hide, yeah. Our time is our time when I'm in it. She know what it is. Ride around the whip. Me and my new chick. When I went to Africa, that other bill. Hey, with it, yeah. Real deal with it. Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord.
New whip, guess I'm on some new shit. No, she ain't my girlfriend, just a chick I'm cool with. Only let a few hit, let her blow a few chips. Took her on a few trips, kissed her on her 2 lips. Was amazing, head cheerful wit. Wish I would've knew this, she gon' make me lose it. Something more than a one night stand. Less than lovers, more than friends. Some people won't understand. I know she got a man, she know that I got a wife. She play her position right, she keeping her lips tight. We linking up late nights, cause I how she like. Roll up and take flights, zip if she like.
She be like, side, yeah, she down for that ride. Give a damn who riding with us. And I ain't got a thing to hide, yeah. Our time is our time when I'm in it. She know what it is. Ride around the whip. Me and my new chick. When I went to Africa, that other bill. Hey, with it, yeah. Real deal with it. Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord.
Sitting in my living room, scrolling through my Rolodex, thinking that I need some whip. Am I gon' f on next? Kiki got the deeper pockets, Keisha got the better sex. I just f them both together. That'll make a wet. Phone line jumping. I just got another text. Looking at it, who is this? OMG, that's just my ex. She just wanna fuss and fight her new don't f right. Hit her with that double back. I might let her spend the night. And I got a white girl, young as hell, but think it's. She thinks she be running shit. She gon' make me f up. I might f your baby mom. She be with the freak
She know what it is. Ride around the whip. Hey, me and my new chick. When I went to, I forget that other bill. Hey, with it. Yeah, real deal with it. Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord.
Bars.
If you're an urban contemporary indie artist, then this is your platform. Send us clean versions of your music to Balancing Act Radio Show at gmail.com. That's Balancing Act Radio Show at gmail.com.
It's not much more I can say. Lady, it's those things that won't keep me away. These feelings just won't subside. Keep you right by my side. Let me know if you're down for me. I wanna talk about me and you. How do you feel about me and you already know. You know what it is. Can we talk about me and you? I wanna talk about me and you. I wanna talk about me and you. I can see it in your eyes, wondering if you gon' find me and you are all up on your mind. But what I'm trying to figure out, what this love is all about, and I think that you're the one for me, for me. I wanna talk about me and you. How do you feel about you and you? Yeah. You already know. Can we talk about me and you? I wanna talk about me and you. Yeah. Release that stress when you exhale. I know you probably wondering what's coming next. Well, oh yeah, I'm sure you can guess. Just continue to get undressed. She put value in self-respect versus shoddy. I am impressed. Oh yeah, to be honest, I don't get too much involved if it ain't a check. But you obviously got something about you that's more than sex. I guess we connect. I'm the plug and you the outlet. Got that sparkle, we together. It's special when I get you wet. Yeah. Oh yeah. Dreams are not what they seem. Champagne dreams are me what they seem. Money, jewelry, fine things. I still choose you. Champagne dreams are not what they seem. Cause me and money, jewelry, finer things. I still choose you.
Some say honesty is the best policy. But back then I wasn't focused on anyone but myself. Didn't matter. Family, friends, girlfriends. If I didn't benefit from it, then it did me no good. Indeed, champagne dreams aren't what they seem. Chose to impress the ones that never really mattered. Neglected your feelings and dared you to leave. You stayed, your love unconditional, despite the verbal abuse. You knew I'd never raise a hand to you. Mama ain't raised no fool, or at least I thought. I foolishly let myself and you go, all in one breath. Everything after that has been a blur.
Welcome back to the Balancing Act Radio Show, hosted by AJ Throwback, only on WinDCRadio.com and the WinDC Radio app, powered by GoWin.media.
Yeah. That was D Bell featuring Mo Thorough with Bell featuring Mo Thorough with Taraji, Champagne Dreams. Before that, we had YB the Great with She Know featuring BZ Archibald. And starting off the set, we had Ebony Joy with One in a Million. Alright, so let me give a few shout outs before we get rolling with our with my list. Appreciate the missus, of course, is tuned in and watching. Tiffany, once again, I appreciate you for tuning in. Coolin, cousin, sister, appreciate you. Giles Scott, appreciate you also tuned in. And remember, we are on Facebook Live right now. We're also on YouTube Live if you're watching on YouTube. And of course, we're on the Win DC Radio app. So appreciate all the listeners who are tuned in right now. All right. So, top 10 albums 2018 for me. I can't speak for anybody else. I have a very I'm all over the place when it comes to the stuff that I like. And so some of the things that you're going to see in my top 10 list for 2018 might surprise some people, especially in the top 10. And then some people might be surprised by what didn't make the cut in my top 10. But I will give out my honorable mentions. So I'm going to give you the 10 that didn't make the top 10, but of course will be in the top 20. So for me, at number 20, I would have Meek Mill Championships. At 19, I have Black Alley, right out the DMV. Dirty Laundry, great album. Number 18, Buddy. A lot of people don't know about Buddy. Buddy, he's done a lot of work with Nipsey Hussle and a lot of West Coast artists. His album, Harlan and Alondra, dope album. If you haven't heard it, treat yourself to it. It's a dope album. Number 17, I have Cardi B with Invasion of Privacy. I thought it was a really good, major label debut album. Solid. Is Cardi the best rapper? Not necessarily, but to me, you don't always have to be the best rapper to put out a quality project. I just thought she just came with it, and she showed growth from her previous 2 mixtapes. So, at number 16, I have The Carters with Everything Is Love. I enjoyed that album thoroughly. Number 15, J-Rock with Redemption. Very slept on album. A lot of people had it in their conversation for album of the year. I just heard, for me personally, some better albums than that, but that takes nothing away from it. Number 14, I got T.I. with Dime Trap. One of T.I.'s best albums for me, probably since, I think he had an album, I think it was Us versus Them, something like that. That album wasn't bad, but I felt like Dime Trap was probably one of his best albums since Paper Trail. That's just me. And let's see. Number 13, Bun B, Return of the Trill. For me, that is Bun B's best solo album. As a member, of course, member of the legendary UGK, but since Pimp C passed, and even before Pimp C passed, because Bun B had an album, his debut album, which was good, but I feel like Return of the Trill is even better. At number 12, I have Ace Hood with Trust the Process 2, Undefeated. Ace Hood is so underrated. It's criminal how underrated Ace Hood is. He just always put out quality products. He doesn't shortchange you, and I appreciate that in the artist. And at number 11, I have the most different album out of all these albums I just named, Kamasi Washington, Heaven and Earth. And I have to shout out my man, Michael, I don't know what it's, Pasciola, but he's the one that actually put me on to that album. And it is just musically euphoric. It's just a great album. So much musicianship, so many layers of musicality within that album. It's just well put together. It really almost made my top 10. But when it comes to my top 10, I'm very simple. If I put you in a top 10, it's like, how likely am I to play this song or play this album after the first listen or two? And so that's why those albums that are in my 10 are in my 10. So let's get to it. So my number 10, Pusha T, Daytona. And actually this album was higher around June, July, and honestly for most of the year. But then, of course, keep listening to it. You know, it drops a little bit, but it's still a solid album. It's his shortest project, and some people criticize the fact that it was so brief. But for me, and I've been a Pusha T fan since, of course, the Clips. But I felt like his solo albums, I wasn't really the biggest fan of a lot of his solo albums. And so this was the first time I really enjoyed one of his projects front to back. And then, to me, this is like Kanye's, out of the series that he had with Tiana Taylor, with Nas, with Kid Cudi himself, this was the best front to back produced project out of those 5 albums earlier this year. And also, like, I mean, Push, like, he's so clever without being obviously clever. And he tells stories in a certain way that I enjoy. And one of the examples is on one of my favorite songs on Daytona, and that's The Games We Play. So the whole song goes, but, and this is my favorite beat on the whole album, but like in verse 2, this is where Push shows off. So he says, to all of my youngsters, I am your ghost and your ray. This is my purple tape, save up for rainy days, and baby mama wishes, along with the siders. They try to coexist, end up wishing you divers. Stood on every couch in the A at the black party. No jewelry on, but you richer than everybody. You laugh a little louder, the DJ say your name a little prouder. And we don't need a globe to show you the world is ours. We can bet 100,000 with my safe hold. My number's looking like a bank code. Like, I mean, it's just, you know, it's typical braggadocious rap, but it's like the way that it's delivered. The way that it's delivered, like, he just comes with a certain swagger that only really somebody of Pusha T's caliber can give you. So, some other songs on the album that I really enjoyed other than that, I would say would be If You Know, You Know, first song on the album. He starts off the album strong. Hard Piano featuring Rick Ross and Santeria. So, yeah, that's my number 10. Number 9. Number 9. Artist from right here in the DMV, Kingpin Slim, Trapper's Delight. This was a dope album, and I'm gonna be honest. When I first listened to the album, I guess you have to listen for an artist's growth or how they're trying to like do things a little bit differently than they did from their last project. And so I got a little spoiled by Life After Doubt when it came to Kingpin Slim, because for me, out of all the projects he's done, that's my favorite one. So Trapper's Delight is, I mean, the beats kind of tell you what it is, but the thing that I like about the beat selection on this album is that it's trapped with not necessarily overly musicianship, but like it's just different than a lot of the trap beats that you hear. It's got a little bit more body to it, if you can understand what I'm saying. So it's a well-produced album. Kingpin Slim, he never shortchanges you on bars. And the thing is, it's one of those things where it's like he drops bars that you're not gonna catch the first listen. Like you're gonna have to listen like 2, 3, 4 times to catch a lot of his bars, because he hits you with singers left and right. But one of my favorite songs on the album is Moon Rock. And for me, it's his best flow on the album. It's one of the best beats on the album. And the hook is witty, and then he gives you bars like, Harold Melvin got them blue notes. Niggas all hype, that's Harold Miner. 2 things I really hate, whack rappers and some whack vagina. Need a low jack on you. When I show up, you gonna have to find them. Fish tail from the bottom of the sea used to only be the top rhyming. In the city, I'm the top rhyming. Handle rock like I'm rock climbing. There ain't nothing we ever got in common. Like, it's just the delivery and it's funny that I have him and Push like back to back, because in a lot of ways they're very similar. But like Kingpin Slim is just to me, he made a slightly better album than Push. You know, for me, beat selection, the bars, it's just, and the bravado. It's just a little bit more bravado there. And I mean, Push got bravado for days. But anyway, other songs, if you haven't heard the album, check out 100 Bands, Raptors, and Two in a Day. Those are some of my personal favorites. Number eight, Sky Zoo, In Celebration of Us. And let me tell you about this album. So, Sky Zoo hadn't been on my radar for like years. And it's not that I don't like Sky Zoo. It's just, it's so many rappers that have come out that it's easy to lose touch with certain rappers if you don't necessarily follow their career. But I was on one of my friend's statuses, and one of his friends that we have in common, he was talking about this album, and he was talking about two tracks in particular, Everybody's Fine and Hoodie Season. And I was like, okay, because it was in a conversation talking about verse of the year. So he put those songs in as his verses of the year. So I was like, okay, let me listen to this album. And out of the albums I listened to in 2018, this is probably one of the most consistently well-produced albums out of any album in my top 10. Out of any album I heard. And I gotta mention two particular songs. So, Love is Love. It's great production, but it's these 8 bars that like hit me the hardest. So he says, and then love me like you was Benita Browder. Pick us outside and you just trying to ease the crowd up. Knowing your heart died makes your heart beat louder until the speakers blow and they lift you up from around us. Love me like we love the legacy that our youngest would become, an illusion of no reruns. Love me like turning down a plea when you need one, but knowing that your word is worth more than what a plea does. It's like a different kind of painting a picture of love. It's very creative, and he has those comparisons all throughout the song. That's just like a microcosm of what he does in that song. But for me, my favorite song on the whole album is Honor Amongst Thieves. And it's one of the best storytelling songs of 2018. And he chronicles the relationship of his father and his godfather, and the moment when he was about to be born, and then his life and his relationship with his father, and kind of battling between two different worlds. And one of the things that he says in the final verse, he says, and the more he realized the balance of both sides, when his pop said, protect yours, never let no one overstep yours. But know that when you step on, ain't no stepping away. It sticks with you forever like how I'm here every day. But still he taught me how to load up just in case. And due to my composure, a lot of moments were saved. Now knowing everything you just heard and what it made, let me know what you would prefer further explain. So like before that, he's talking about this whole situation where I think somebody had killed one of his boys or shot one of his boys, and so he had a decision to make. Like, do I go retaliate or do I not? And so that's the tug of war that he's going through. And the way that he paints the picture before you even get to that point, you really have to check that song out. So other songs, of course, the notables that were mentioned before, Everything's Fine, which is the beginning song on the album, I believe, and then Hoodie Season. Number 7, Black Thought and Salaam Remi, Stream of Thought Volume 2. Now, I was expecting a little bit more from bear with me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just trying to multitask here. But yeah, so what I can actually say. So what ended up happening was I heard Volume 1 and I was like, okay, Volume 1 is decent, but I was expecting a little bit more because of the combination of Ninth Wonder and Black Thought. I was expecting a little bit more, but his collaboration on this particular this particular album with Salaam Remi, it was better. I feel like Salaam Remi just kind of got Black Thought a little bit more, and so one of my favorite songs on it was Long Living. And the beat, what I loved about that beat, it reminded me of The Corner by Common meets Where I'm From by Jay-Z. And so, like, Thought about to go off if you hear a beat like that, because Thought got them bars, man, like all day. Like, he's one of the best to ever do it. And so um, he talks about his displeasure of the state of the game. So he says, I'm a Pulitzer Prize fighter, how I vaporize writers. Shut them down one at a time, synchronize silence. Make the audience forget you, call it Alzheimer's. Child rhymers don't come at the old timers. Whether your fan base is Lil Mamas or Obamas, how you claim to have something in check with no commas. You and Mary got the same request, it's no drama. I'm the pinnacle of language, yes, the Dalai Lama. Like, you can almost, if you're a thought fan like me, you can almost hear like how them words are like coming onto the audio, man. It's just like, it's masterful. But then one of my favorite parts in the second verse, he says, since the second grade, I've been gainfully employed, hustling for change every day from 3 to 4. When other kids was into playing games and being bored, going against the grains what I painfully enjoyed. When they was into race cars, trains, TV, and toys, I was thinking fat gold chains and freakazoids, filling a deeper void, listening to that indecent noise. People used to tell me, boy, your brain gonna be destroyed. Like, the rhyme scheme, the picture that he paints, is just like, good grief. This is why he's heralded as one of the best in the game. And then other notables, I would say, would be Fentanyl, which is the opening track. How to Hold a Chopper. The music, I love the music on that. The New Grit, and then Streets featuring Tish Hyman. Number 6, and this one fell out of my top 5, but it's still in my top 10, and that's Janelle Monáe with Dirty Computer. Now, what's interesting about this album, I had a conversation with one of my friends. He's a huge Janelle Monáe fan. Shout out to JT. Now, he felt like it took a step back from Electric Lady and like her previous projects. Now, I have a different connection to the album because I saw her perform it live, and so I'm in this stadium in Miami, or it's the Fillmore actually, Miami Beach. So I'm at the Fillmore with my wife, and we're watching the show, and it's just like, first and foremost, the light show is just amazing. Second of all, like, you see all of these different women, mainly black women, but like of different hues, different shapes, different sizes, different orientations, different backgrounds, all coming together, like really just loving what this woman is putting on, loving the messages that she's preaching about, like feminism and just women empowerment. This empowering women, like, it's a very empowering album, and I think no song does that more for me, and it's actually my favorite song on the album. Going back and listening to it, in terms of the content, is Django Jane. And so my favorite part, she says, black girl magic, y'all can't stand it, y'all can't ban it, made out like a bandit. They've been trying hard just to make us all vanish. I suggest they put a flag on a whole nother planet. Jane Bond, never Jane Doe, and a Jane Go, never Sambo. Black and white, yeah, that's always been my camo. It's looking like y'all gonna need some more ammo. It's like, it's so empowering in that part, because it's like, I mean, I really love the part was like, they've been trying hard just to make us all vanish. Like, black women are the most underappreciated demographic in the world. And Janelle Monáe just takes that and flips it like, no, we are the most powerful. No matter how much we're taken for granted, we are the most powerful. Or we're going to own our power. It's simple and plain. And I just appreciated that particular part. Other notables, Dirty Computer featuring Brian Wilson. Take a Bite, which like musically is my favorite song on the album. The music on that song is amazing. And then Americans. And I mean, all of these albums, even though I'll point out like notables, most of these albums front to back, well, I'll say all the albums front to back, you can play from 1 to 7, 1 to 10, or whatever the track listing is. But anyway, so that's the top, well, that's the bottom 5. And I hate to say bottom 5, but that's the first, let me put it like this. This is the first half of the top 10. So I'll give the second half in the second hour. In the meantime, we're gonna go ahead and get into this right here.
They made dope music, rallied their biggest fans, spread the word, and now to the victors go the spoils. Closing out the year with 10 of the ultimate bangs. It's the Bars Top 10 for the win, year-end countdown. Only on Win DC Radio.
gon' spend it what you counted for. Ain't gon' spend it what you counted for.
I've been having dreams by Maseratis, money counters, just twerking on the counter, rolling dope up by the ounces. Ain't gon' spend it what you counted for. Ain't gon' spend it what you counted for. I've been having dreams by Maseratis, money counters, just twerking on the counter, rolling dope up by the ounces. Ain't gon' spend it what you counted for. Ain't gon' spend it what you counted for.
Gotta run it up, might die young. Got a lot of dope in my lungs. Looking too fresh in my ones. Can't go to war for no crumbs. Can't hang around with no bums. Everybody around me day ones. Need a cute little bitch like A1. Smoke all night, hit high notes. All I care about is the vibe though. I'm a real dog, no Milo. For my brothers like Rollo. See, that's your girl, that's my hoe. You gon' send shots at me. Go to jail for a hoe. Man, nigga don't want no shmoney. Always worried about the wrong things. First like LeBron James. Speaking of home, I've been missing it. Been dripping sauce since my christening. Been dropping gems, you ain't listening. Don't got no fishy, no fisherman. Speaking of water, I'm walking on it. Feel like my back got a target on it. Feel like my back got a target on it. That's my business, I ain't talking on it. Too busy getting that chicken. Tom Cruise, your boy on a mission. I've been having dreams about Maseratis, money counters, twerking on the counter, rolling dope up by the ounces. Ain't gon' spend it what you counted for. Ain't gon' spend it what you counted for. I've been having dreams about Maseratis, money counters, bitches twerking on the counter, rolling dope up by the ounces. Ain't gon' spend it what you counted for. Ain't gon' spend it what you counted for. I've been having dreams about Maseratis, money counters, just twerking on the counter, rolling dope up by the ounces. Ain't gon' spend it what you counted for. Ain't gon' spend it what you counted for. Yeah, man, I swear I'm with this stress. I swear I'm with this stress. I put bad bitches up and down my Christmas list. That's 30 points and 10 assists. Rebounding before them fall. Feeling Irish, try your luck. Better take a trip back to Notre Dame. Scream and go hard cause they know the name. I don't know the sun, but I know the rain. I don't feel the pressure, but I feel the pain. Doing this here cause I love the game. What you gonna do when I blow like propane? Probably wanna offer that dope. Probably wanna offer that cocaine. I'ma just look like no thank you. 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 What you gonna do when I blow up? Push the Mozzie down your street. What you do, blow up. Mozzie down your street. retribution. These better come up with a resolution. They wasn't talking about us in the Constitution. That's why most of my in the distribution. Soul gang, this the movement. I just write it all down, put it in my music.
They killing us, man. I'm telling you, man, they killing us. They don't give us no law or nothing. They land, they smile in your face and stab you in your back. You already judged me before you even knew me by reading the newspaper.
Was born into a system that's designed to fail. Dying in the streets or they die in jail. Yo, I swear, my life was like a living hell. It ain't living well sitting in a prison cell. But through it all though, you know we gon' still prevail. My buying scales just to get them wide sales. My man making sales cause I ain't make the NFL. And I was blowing on the L since like I was 12. I get high as hell, why? Cause I might as well. It was my man first offense, they ain't gave him bail. If I had to give advice, this what I would tell. If you gon' do some dirt, do it by yourself.
Man, they don't do nothing but set us up and killing us, man. Talking about the system.
What is the system?
You wanna know what the system is? That punk. Damn. That fake judge, punk prosecuting them lawyers that all them. Talking about the system, the police, homicide, DEA, FBI, all of them.
Man, I'm just praying for our sons and daughters. We losing too many black fathers. Black kings becoming the newest black martyrs. Won't give us justice, but still taking out black dollars. Wow, but really these is the facts, partner. That it ain't too many Sean Carters, but it's a lot of playing Bob Barkers. You live by it, you die by it. Now that's karma. He did his bid without snitching. Now that's honor. And these days we still slaves. We just smarter. Without chains, ain't much change. It's just modern. We had a black president, but it's really the same though. But we less like Kunta now. We more Django. The battle of war, all my is trained for. To cock that thing back and watch they brains blow. It's 2018 and I'm Nat Turner with a black burner, ready to commit mass murder.
Instead of putting all the liquor stores in community, why don't you put a little daycare joint right there or something, you know? People's crazy, man. They ain't doing nothing but they might as well go and get a damn gun and lay everybody down and shoot everybody in the head 2 times.
I just killed this. This an execution. Yo, our evolution started with the revolution. So tell them that we want a retribution. These better come up with a resolution. They wasn't talking about us in the Constitution. That's why most of my is in the distribution. Soul gang, this the movement. I just write it all down, put it in my music.
That's all they doing. They just doing it in another way.
R.I.P. to all the fallen soldiers, yeah. We need justice, yeah. We want justice. Mike Brown, Freddie Gray, Trayvon Martin, Philandro Castile, Alton Sterling, Tamir Rice, Terrence Crutcher, Keith Scott, Corinne Gaines, Emmett Till, Terrence Sterling. R.I.P. to my Troublefield. Salute to all the G's, all the kings and queens. All my behind the wall. All my down at wall. Soul Gang, J Heat. The heat is on.
Number 7.
It's amazing to me how he thinks I'm stupid.
Crazy cake on the beat. Hey.
Telling me all those lines. All those times. I knew it. I knew it.
When it all began, I was looking for a friend, then I discovered another you. That look in your eyes caught me by surprise. I'm wondering what's up with you. You told me to trust in you, that I could depend on you. There's nothing you wouldn't do, but this one I had no clue. Tell me what has changed for you. This love affair I thought was true, but now I'm seeing deceitful sides of you. You told me that you love me, but never showed you care. I just refuse to be another one, begging me to stay when I know there's nothing there. I just can't be, won't be another one. Told me that you love me, but never showed you care. I just can't be, won't be another one, begging me to stay when I know there's
words never had no truth. Tell me what has changed for you. This love affair I thought was true, but now I'm seeing another side of you. It's true. You told me that you love me, but never showed you care. I just refuse to be another one, begging me to stay when I know there's nothing there. I just can't be, won't be another one. Told me that you love me, but never showed you care. I just can't be, won't be another one, begging me to stay when I know there's nothing there. I just refuse to be another one. You told me that you love me, but never showed you care. I just refuse to be another one, begging me to stay when I know there's nothing there. I just can't be, won't be another one. Told me that you love me, but never showed you care. I just can't be, won't be another one, begging me to stay when I know there's nothing there. It's nothing there, there's nothing there. You told me that you love me, but never showed you care. I just refuse to be another one, begging me to stay when I know there's nothing there. I just can't be, won't be another one. Told me that you love me, but never showed you care. I just can't be, won't be another one, begging me to stay when I know there's nothing there. I just refuse to be another one.
Number 6.
Damn, girl, you got it. You caught feelings first, but now my heart's inside your pockets. I'm having visions of family dinners and Christmas stockings. I just went with the flow, but your motions are so hypnotic. You've been running through my mind, my thoughts been racing, trying to stop this. And all these drugs have been antibiotics for the wounds from women I cut, cause it got chaotic. I was obnoxious to think your longings weren't turn me psychotic. I could have been an alcoholic, but you've been the remedy with positive energy to turn on my frenemies to ghosts. Now they just dead to me. I don't wish death on any, but I do know that you envy me, cause she shares my energy and truly wants to enter me. Girl, you are amazing, and you've truly been a friend to me. You found a place inside my heart, so no matter where I travel, you and I won't be apart.
I get this feeling, I can't fight if I wanted to. Do you get these feelings too? Cause I'm wanting you, I'm wanting you. I get this feeling, I can't fight if I wanted to. Do you get these feelings too? I hope you do, I'm wanting you.
To me, your beauty's unmatched. To me, the mother girls just don't stand a chance. I'm gonna need like 4 kisses before you leave, even if you coming back. But you're not going too far, cause I just hit you from the back. Ever since the day we met, you have lifted all my stress. And when I am too sore, you glue your mattress to my chest. Then you rub it out, so I don't have to thug it out. Blunt inside my mouth, we lay on top of the clouds. Your support has been perfection. Entering your life for me has truly been a blessing. Not keeping you around will be like me turning down heaven. You shield the blows that life throws, my weapon for protection. A love larger than Texas. Come through, let's connect, and then let's further that connection. Girl, I won't take you for granted. You're my only one with 7 billion on this planet.
I get this feeling, I can't fight if I wanted to. Do you get these feelings too? Cause I'm wanting you, I'm wanting you. I get this feeling, I can't fight if I wanted to. Do you get these feelings too? I hope you do, cause I'm wanting you.
The red light, the red light, the red light, kisses at the red light, the red light, meet me at the red light, the red light, kisses at the red light. Girl, you're shining brighter than 1,000 pairs of headlights. keep you around in my dark times. You shed light. You're too addicting, I don't mind it, but the feds might. We could kick it any day. We could lay up every night.
I get this feeling. I can't fight if I wanted to. Do you get these feelings too? 'Cause I'm wanting you. I'm wanting you. I get this feeling. I can't fight if I wanted to. Do you get these feelings too? I hope you do. I'm wanting you.
More topics, more segments, more music means more bars after this.
Win DC Radio brings to you the app. Yes, the app is now available on your Google Play and your App Store on your iPhone or your Android. Any of your pads that you might be using, be it if it's an iPad, iPad mini, or if you have a Samsung Note, it doesn't matter what you have. Any mobile device, you can get the app so you can listen where you're at to Win DC Radio.
The Shops at Iverson is now undergoing a transformation, creating a mixed-use center where the community can come together to eat, shop, relax, and feel connected. The Shops at Iverson is a 600 KSF mixed-use property consisting of retail and office space now available. Located inside the Beltway on Branch Avenue, Maryland, just minutes from downtown DC. It's an exciting time at the Shops at Iverson. Several beautiful renovation projects are ongoing, transforming the Shops at Iverson into the new safe community hub. DMV, get ready to enjoy the new food court. Opening late spring, early summer, featuring new restaurants like Chipotle, Quickway Hibachi, Tropical Smoothie, Wingstop, and free Wi-Fi. The Shops at Iverson, the original home of the world-famous Snickerdoodle cookies, is completing several cosmetic improvements to the mall interior, facade, and parking garage. The Shops at Iverson is the new home of Go Win Media, comprised of the DMV's premier internet radio stations, GoGo Radio Live and Win DC Radio. For updates and more details, check out shopiverson.com. That's shopiverson.com.
Foreplay the Orgasm Show. I am your host, Hot Toddy, along with the Turn Up team, Miss Lolly and Showtime. Foreplay the Orgasm Show is each and every Tuesday night from 8 to 10, bringing you the sexy slow jams with very adult interactive conversation, only on Win DC Radio.
Man, look, y'all already know what time it is. It's your boy, Gerard Street Garvey, and my DJ, Kid Cannon. And when we together, you know what it is. Grind Season Radio, each and every Wednesday from 8 to 10 on Win DC Radio. Don't forget it. Yeah.
Looking for a new look? Check out Hair Academy 2 in the Shops at Iverson, Hillcrest Heights, Maryland. You'll get quality services done by developing stylists and barbers, senior discounts offered weekly, and free barbershop services available when you present a flyer. Chemical treatments are also available. Call 301-899-9100 for hours of operation. Hair Academy 2 in the Shops at Iverson, 3705 Branch Avenue, Suite 1010, lower level, Hillcrest Heights. A new look is waiting for you at Hair Academy 2.
We hope you didn't go too far. It's time for the second hour of the Balancing Act Radio Show, hosted by AJ Throwback, only on WinDCRadio.com and the Win DC Radio app, powered by GoWin.media.
If somebody tell you he hot, man, you know everybody hot. Now, Slim, he fish grease.
That's how we feel about this track right here. This is the Fish Grease Pick of the Week, only on bars, on WinDCRadio.com and the Win DC Radio app, powered by GoWin.media. It's time to get back to AJ Throwback and Bars, only on WinDCRadio.com and the WinDC Radio app, powered by GoWin.media.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was our official pick of the week. That was Latasia Leak with Divine Love. In the previous hour, our top 10, starting off the top 10. Number 10, we had Go Hard Mike Lee with Mozzie Dreams. At number 9, Amani Philly with Forever. At number 8, Jay Heat with 1831. Number 7, Tia Day with Another One. And at number 6, Jerry Holmes featuring Talia with Wanting You. We'll continue with the remaining 5 a little later in this hour. I got to shout out a very special person who's watching for the first time live. She's seen the show, but this is the first time she's actually watching live. And that's my mama, Mama Joe. That's what my wife calls her. So, hi Mom, appreciate you tuning in. Always got to shout out to Mama. And I definitely also wanted to shout out all of the producers that we've had this year who either have submitted instrumentals for Producer of the Week or we featured actually in studio. So shout out, right now you're hearing Doc Brass with The Awkward Date, but we've also showcased Native Sons, Sage of Seven Paths, Beat Boys Music, shout out Jay Grizz and Brian Lyrics, and Almani Jackson. And also you're going to be hearing music from Yero, who we had on our October 10th show, featuring music from his album Tea and Trees. So that's what you're going to be hearing in the background today. You're not going to hear as many of my instrumentals today because I want to showcase the producers, my favorite instrumentals from the producers we've had this year. So not quite a top 10, but my favorite songs from them. So shout out all the producers who sent in tracks. So yeah, let's get back to this top 5. This top 10. So let's get to the top 5. Alright, so at number 5, I have, and some people might say it's a hometown bias because I got 2 DC people in the top 10. But, you know, when people from the area make great music, or music that I can relate to, music that I want to keep listening to, I gotta show them love. So, at number 5, LB 1990X, Black Matter. And what's crazy is, I came across him when I hosted R&B Nostalgia, the DC Takeover, Volume 5. Shout out to April L. Stanford, by the way, Brooklyn Concrete Management. But yeah, I discovered him because he was on that bill. And, you know, like you listen to people's music and you never know what to expect, but it ended up being, as soon as I heard it, I was like, this is going to end up being one of my favorite albums of the year. And lo and behold, it actually rose up the ranks when I started like analyzing like how much I really like albums. And the thing that I like about LB 1990X, young dude, he has a lot of, the way that he presents whatever it is that he's talking about, he does it in a way that's simple yet profound. And he kind of reminds me of a young Drake, or, you know, or newer Drake, only a little bit more musicianship implemented in his production, and if he had like maybe a slightly deeper bars. I ain't gonna say slightly deeper bars to me. And the thing that I like about an album like this is that it starts off well, but finishes even stronger than it starts. And so, War on Drugs, one of my favorite songs on the album. It's one of his strongest lyrical showings, and he talks about the influx of drugs in the black community, particularly affecting a city like DC, which, you know, he grew up in, I grew up in, and many people who are listening grew up in the 80s and 90s. And the thing is, he's only 26 years. I think he's 25. But he's young, but still, he was affected by a lot of those things that happened even in the 80s and the 90s. His second verse is one of his best because he makes it pretty personal. So he says, invaded my city with tax brackets, dealers and crack addicts, affected by the family needs, 80s babies going crazy, Ronald Reagan, Made it hard for the 90s to leave. I swear to God, I seen my pops just sell the hard. The only difference ain't no burglar bars. Only thing that mattered, he was getting it off, and we was still in this effed up world of ours. Like, it's just very, very visual, and he goes there. Like, he not only criticizes the government, but he talks about how it affected the black community specifically. And, you know, and having to deal with the fallout from a lot of what happened. Whether you're talking about somebody who was dealing or somebody who was using. It's a lot people had to deal with. And another one of my favorite songs on the album is Fool's Gold. It's just a very melodic, beautiful song. Because, I mean, a lot of times when he raps, like, he'll have these moments where he'll kind of get sing-songy with the rap, but he'll mix it up with rapping. And so it's just like a great, like, piano tone in the song. Ayanna Nash, her harmonies on the chorus are just so beautiful, so smooth. And then he brings it on the second verse of the song. So he says, growing up was the hardest. Started off in the projects, looking out for a promise, speaking that knowledge, feeling a promise. Fool's gold, turn you into loose change. Now I'm on a new road. Look at how I do things. It don't even matter. I'm all over this bullshit, living for the better. I'm looking for my fortress, as simple as the factor. I need to ease my mind, and everything I am is all I need to lead the blind. That last line, that just brought it all home right there. Like, whatever, no matter what you have been taught or no matter what you've been told, like, what you need to be the best you is within you. And so, absolutely love that message. Other notables on the album, Black Matter and Patience. And with Bria Janae, who was also at that same show. And I love how that closes out the album, Patience. Like, they close it with a County Cullen poem, Hey Black Child. Had a child actually reading the poem in the song. And then his father was talking in the song as well, talking about just being humble. So it's a very, like, I don't know, it's a very humble album. It's a very introspective album. And again, like, he presents it in a way that I feel like a lot of people can receive easily. But it's such a good album, and it's one of those albums I can see myself bumping past the first 2 or 3 listens. Number 4, Anderson, and I always feel like I'm gonna say his name. I think it's Pop. Anderson Pop. Oxnard. So Oxnard is, if you followed his series, he's had a series of albums that have been names of different places in California. So you had Venice, you had Malibu, which was his last solo album, because he had an album in between with Knowledge, producer Knowledge, which is a great album. And then now he's talking about Oxnard, which is where he grew up. Now, what I loved about what he said is that you think, okay, it's about to be a nostalgic album talking about where he grew up, but he said this album is bringing the things that I've learned from going out and experiencing life outside of my comfort zone and outside of my natural habitat. I had to leave and go into the bigger city, into the world, and learn all these things, and now I'm bringing it back to my home front. And I think when he said that, I definitely could relate to that, because moving from my home base and going elsewhere, even though I'm right in the area, but still, like, you used to growing up in the actual city, but like I did the reverse of what he did, and it's kind of increased my artistic ability because I've seen things differently. I've stepped out of the situation, and I'm able to really process sounds, process words, and a lot of things differently. And I think it's probably the same for him, only in reverse. He left a smaller town and went to a bigger city. And so he brought those experiences back to where he's from. I absolutely love that. My favorite song on the album, though, and although Anderson Pop, he does his thing on the song, as he does on every song on Oxnard, it's one of the most musically sound albums out of my top 10, out of any album that I've praised for 2018. But Anywhere, this features one of my favorite Snoop Dogg features in like at least 10 years. Now he's done good songs, but I mean features. Sometimes for me, Snoop Dogg is hit or miss, and I love Snoop Dogg. But like on this joint, like he just gave you that like classic Snoop flow, and he even in his bars paints you a picture of like On the east, ducking feds from a peephole. 1989, gang banging was at its peak. This the beat that make me reminisce on G-Funk. 3 summers before the chronic hit the streets. I would rather slang hand to hand to a fiend. Rapping on the side, trapping was priority. But every now and then I go scoop my little thing, pull up in my MC banging New Jack Swing. So it's like it's very visual. Like you see everything. It's probably one of the most visual Snoop Dogg verses I've heard in a long time. You know, like that just gives you a picture. And I just appreciated the fact that Anderson .Paak, like every feature he had on the album, it kind of pushed whoever the featured artist was to really bring their best, because he's giving you this great music, great production, because I mean he's a drummer, and so musicianship is his life. And while he might not necessarily be like this super duper strong singer, he's very much an artist, and you hear that artistry all throughout the album. Whether you're talking about songs like Cheers with Q-Tip, you're talking about Mansa Musa with, I think it's Coco Sarai and Dr. Dre, dope song. It's another song I'm trying to think that I really like. I think it's Petty, Smile and then Petty. It's like a 2-part song in one. Dope. I mean, just a dope album all around. Number 3, and this album actually rose up the ranks, and it's a very slept on album. Phonte, No Good News. I mean, No News is Good News. I mean, this album, I don't hear enough people talking about this album when they talk about albums of the year. I mean, you're talking about one of the most heralded lyricists in hip hop. Now, granted, I mean, there were a lot of releases this year, a lot of good releases, but for me, it rose up the ranks because I listened to it again and again and again, and it's like, I won't say it's like on the level of Little Brother Minstrel Show dope, because that's one of my favorite albums, like hip hop albums of all time. But of course, y'all know he comes from Little Brother, but like the replay value, the bars that are there, like he just drops so many gems. So to the song, I had to pull out 2 songs because I mean he's just hitting you in the head with stuff. So Cry No More, personal song about him losing his father and dealing with the things that kind of took his father out, but also the things that are hurting his mom in life, who's still living. And so he talks about in his second verse, he says, they asked me where I've been, dog. I've been rebuilding with my wiz and children. Put my pops in the ground. They hit the repass and ate the same shit that killed me. Your habits didn't deviate. Just thought you would appreciate. My mom used to say I was a whore just like you. So Ma ran through even more just to spite you. And Pops, my health is doing pretty good despite you. I try so I don't die at 54 just like you, cold. I'm one snowflake away from an avalanche. My first teachers were masters of self-sabotage. My mama walking slower these days, she got a stint. Still on them Newports, where's your fucking common sense? Pardon my French, I'm just still unconvinced that as young as you are, soon I'll be taking care of you. I get it, you're the one who did the raising, I'm the son. But I'm not ready to cry at your Lorraine hair. I gotta read that part better. I get you're the one who did the raising, I'm the son, but I'm not ready to cry at your Lorraine Hand's burial. Like, man, like just if you listen to like that and then you listen to the song that comes before, which I'm gonna talk about, which is actually my favorite song on the album. But without Cry No More, that's just powerful because you think about having parents that do things that really they're killing themselves slowly, or sometimes they kill themselves quickly. And the fact that your parents may do certain things that may hurt them, and it ends up being a thing where either they go way before you, or you have to end up taking care of them sooner than you wanted to because of their lack of wise choices or their lack of better choices. You know, it can be hurtful, and then those things can have a negative effect on you because you end up picking up some of their bad habits, as he kind of alludes to on Expensive Jeans. And which is funny because I had the conversation a couple of weeks ago about Jay-Z's verse in What's Free being my favorite singular verse in 2018, but a very close second. I mean, I would even debate saying 1A, 1B would be Expensive Jeans. This dude, he talks about something that a lot of people, one, don't talk about in rap, and two, we don't like to talk about enough in the black community, and that is healthcare. How we take care of our bodies. We talk about all the different ways that we could die, what could happen to us, and this and that, and the third. But what he breaks down as this song is that let me just read his first 4 lines. He says, 7 days in a week, eat a steak every plate, it's a feast. Watch your weight, no mistakes in the least, or else you too will dig a grave with your teeth. Like, we talk about like getting shot, talk about cancer, talk about AIDS, talk about whatever it could be, being in car accidents. We talk about all these different things that could potentially kill us. But one of the biggest things that is killing us is what we eat. And then he says later in the song, he says, wish that I could fit in these expensive jeans. I don't like this cut. It's like the Lord got my order wrong. 3 a.m. stress eating, laying down on it. Now your blood sugar is borderline. That last line, good grief. The wordplay and then what he's saying in it. Like, talking about diabetes, talking about all of these different things, having to take different medications because of the way that we eat. Because part of it is like soul food culture. I mean, as much as we love soul food, a lot of that stuff isn't necessarily great for us if we're being honest and we're being frank about things. And that's a lot of the things that he unravels in this particular song. A lot of other gems on this album. So Help Me God, Such Is Life, which I love because I love how they sampled Keith Washington's Kissing You. And then Change Your Mind with Freddie Gibbs, which I've become more and more of a Freddie Gibbs fan, but that might be one of my favorite flows he's ever spit. I mean, his flow is like airtight on that song. Airtight. Number 2, kind of along the same lines as the Phonte album, and that is Royce da 5'9's Book of Ryan. And I went back and forth, honestly, between this and my number 1. Because this is Royce has gotten better over time. I remember him starting off, and his album wasn't as strong as it could be, especially knowing what he was capable of because of production, because of promotion. But you knew that he had the capability. And then album after album after album just kept getting better. And Book of Ryan is consistently some of the best production he's ever had on one album outside of his series with DJ Premier, the Prime series. It's one of those albums you keep listening to it gets better, and to me that's a great sign that an album can stand the test of time. And then he has like, he just has so many gems on this album. One of the songs that kind of hit home for me was Cocaine. He talks about his dad fighting his addiction for himself and also for his family. And he says something real simple. Now let's talk about how much I respect my pop. He's been through so much in life. We ain't never had a lot. We just had each other's back, and that was really all we need. Pop, I love you unconditional, and thanks for loving me more than cocaine. My father chose me over cocaine. Cocaine. I'm proud to say that I'm an addict who inherits your pain. Now the thing is, he's dealt with, Royce da 5'9" has dealt with alcoholism himself. And so it's almost like he's saying he's thankful for the struggle because it ended up making him strong. Even though he was wondering, like he says in the chorus, he says, I'm losing my mind trying to figure out how did I inherit so much pain? I drink a lot of alcohol, problems with the law. Would I have done better or the same if daddy never tried cocaine? Like being exposed to that. That's some real stuff because if you've ever dealt with somebody with addiction, those addictive behaviors can be passed down to you in one form or another, whether it's cocaine, whether it's drugs, illicit drugs, whether it's alcohol, whether it's food addiction, whether it's gambling, whether it's sex, no matter what it is, somehow, some way, being exposed to somebody's addictive behaviors can have negative effects on you. But I think one of the things that Royce da 5'9" says throughout the album is that he's stronger now because of the things that he's been through, because of his struggles, because of the things that he's experienced in his life. And one of those things he talks about, or the pain in his life that he talks about, led to a lot of other things, including suicide and depression, which he touches about on the very powerful, maybe the most powerful song on the album, Strong Friend. And I think a lot of people will be able to relate to this particular song here. He talks about the image or the assumption of the strong friend, and how a lot of times the issues get swept under the rug because it's assumed that they're okay. So he lays it out in the first verse. He says, the question is, how is your problems becoming my problems? I'm already hiding all of my problems behind my pop problems. When I was 9, see my father beat the shit out of my mama. I'm smiling right now. I'm trying not to cry about her. Alcoholic, I just spent $5,000 trying to buy bottles of Patron again. Now sing along with your strongest friend. Like, covering all of his own pain behind trying to be the man, like a celebrity at the time. I mean, he's still a celebrity. People expecting him to do so much for them when he's struggling with his own demons, battling suicide, battling depression. And, he talks about later in the song, he talks about Chester Bennington. He talks about Capital Steez. All of these people that committed suicide. But in a lot of ways, the signs aren't obvious with people. And so he says, make sure you check up on your strong friend. Like, that's powerful, because we all have a strong friend, and we don't realize that they're dealing with issues, they're dealing with struggles, that they need to know that they got somebody in their corner, instead of always feeling like everybody's coming to their corner to vent, but they don't have a space to vent. They don't feel safe, or they don't have that. They just don't have that lane to be able to express what's going on with them. And so that song is powerful. Other songs on the album, Boblo Bo with J. Cole, which is one of J. Cole's hardest features to date. And when I first listened to it, I was like, man, J. Cole kind of went off, and almost went off harder than Royce da 5'9". Amazing featuring Melanie Rutherford, and the insanely visual power, which he talks about his relationship with his father growing up, witnessing abuse, witnessing substance abuse, physical abuse, like all types of stuff in his household. And I mean, it's a very powerful album, dope album. But it is hard for me, and I like I said, I went back and forth, but my number one has got to be Nipsey Hussle, Victory Lap. For my personal taste, Victory Lap is sonically the best album I've heard all year. Best album I've heard all year. And you just appreciate the growth that you see out of Nipsey Hussle, who goes from being this, dude coming straight off of Slauson and Crenshaw, and like he's so raw when he first come out, but then like mixtape after mixtape after mixtape, street album after street album, he's just developing his flow. He's getting better and better over time, and he comes out with this, and like the production is just so great. He's talking that talk, like he's one of those people that he might not necessarily be the best lyrical person, but what he presents as an artist is just motivation. No matter what your hustle is, whether your hustle is the streets, whether your hustle is entrepreneurship, whether your hustle is art, no matter what it is, like he just speaks that talk that just jumps inside of your bones. So one of my favorite songs is Dedication. And what's crazy is like he murders this song, and he's on the same track with Kendrick, and to me he outdoes Kendrick. And so in the first verse he says, look, this is dedication. This is anti-hesitation. This a real celebration. This a dime block declaration. 59th and 5th Ave, Granny's house with vanilla wafers. This the remedy to separation. Tupac of my generation. Blue pill in the fucking matrix. Red rose in the gray pavement. Young black trapped that he can't change it. Know he a genius, he just can't claim it. Cause they left him with no platforms to explain it. He frustrated so he get faded. But deep down inside he know you can't fade him. How long should I stay dedicated? How long till opportunity meet preparation? I need some real reparations before I run up in your bank just for recreation. Like, man. I mean, I don't really need to say much outside of, he says it all in that one verse. Like I I said, I don't care what your hustle is. If you can't get any gems from that, I don't know what to tell you. And then one of the songs toward the end of the album, Loaded Bases with CeeLo. It's one of my favorite beats on the album. Clever CeeLo hook paying off the baseball reference. But then Nip just dropping more of those motivational bars like in the first verse. So he says, my dough inflated and I'm more creative. Signed a couple big deals, but it's no parade. See, it's a couple, it's every generation that wasn't supposed to make it out but decode the matrix. And when they get to speak, it's like a coded language. Reminders of their strength and all the stolen greatness. We used to shoot it is at the mobile station. Full circle, mogul motivation. Myself educated, shrewd negotiations. Got these sharks that I'm sitting at this table with afraid to bait. So it's like, this is a smart guy. Highly intelligent. Highly business savvy. He knows his stuff. But the thing is, he's one of those type of people. A lot of times people will brag and boast about what they're doing. He's not that type. And he's saying like, nah, I'm not parading around what I'm doing. I don't need the show to prove. I mean, I don't need the show to move so you know to move. I'm messing up a Ransom Relic line. Shout out Ransom Relic. But like more or less like, you'll find out when it's time for you to find out. You'll just see the results. And I'm just, man, this album is so many gems. Like Blue Laces 2, Hustle and Motivate, Million While You Young. Like so many songs on the album that just hit. That just hit. And so, yeah, that's my favorite album of 2018. When we come back, I'm gonna read some of, if I have time, I'm gonna read some of the ones from the other people who commented on my Facebook post about their favorite albums of 2018. If you're watching, if you're listening right now, and if you're on Facebook Live, definitely make sure to hit us up, give us some comments, let us know what's your favorite albums of 2018. If we have some time, if I have some time, I'll read some of those. But let's go ahead and get back to this countdown right here with
number 5.
Yeah. Sometimes my heart is heavy. Got so much things on my mind. I be watching the news. I see so many things. And I just want to make a difference. You know what I mean? And I wonder, what can I do? So I said to you, I write this letter to the president. And I hope it makes its way there. But I put it in song. Rock with me. Come on now.
Damn, Mr. President, I just wish you knew what we go through. I'm talking, damn, Mr. President, I got something to say. Will you listen today? I'm saying, damn, Mr. President. I'm saying, damn, Mr. President. I'm saying, damn, Mr. President. I'm feeling like we lost in this evidence.
So they decided to put a businessman in office. They say the system is broken, losing their country, get it back what they hoping. The key to their progression. All the hate-filled rhetoric once was ahead of it. Though it seems still we're regressing, I flip the news. I see a young girl murdered in blood. I guess a head wrap makes you a thug. But what about a white male with a bat? Where's the justice in that? Thinking of Trayvon is bringing me back. Mike Brown, even Freddie Gray. Richard Collins on the news just the other day. This got me feeling like we lost, we've been led astray. Obama said it, we need change in a major way. A major way. I see the truth in your moves like Robin Hood, you just hood robbing. Giving breaks to the fat, why the hood starving? Taking everything we got to say it's our problem. What's fair to you, to me, is mind-boggling. Come on.
Damn, Mr. President, I just wish you knew what we go through. I'm talking, damn, Mr. President, I got something to say. Will you listen today? I'm saying, damn, Mr. President. I'm saying, damn, Mr. President. I'm saying, damn, Mr. President. I'm feeling like we lost in this evidence.
It's kinda clear funny, you should let it be. He is a symbol of what you hate and what we can't achieve. If we just open up our minds, pray hard and believe. Now tell me why we can't all have health care. Clean water with a breath of that fresh air. You keep talking about these cold jobs, we passed that. Technology ain't moving for no flashbacks. I just hope that you can understand. Make a difference, yeah, you really can. Nowadays it's like the rich holding out their hand. Make America great again, so now that's the plan. Just tell me what era you plan to take us back again. Meals on wheels, you ain't paying for that. School programs, you ain't paying for that. They say you run it like a business, but a businessman knows you invest inside of your people and that business will grow. Give them the tools to succeed and just watch what they show. You got the vote, it's time to pay what you owe. Give them the tools to succeed and just watch what they show. You got the vote, it's time to pay what you owe.
Dear Mr. President, I just wish you knew we gon' through. I'm talking dear Mr. President, I got something to say. Will you listen today? I'm saying dear Mr. President. I'm saying dear Mr. President. I'm saying dear Mr. President. I'm feeling like we lost and it's evident. Dear Mr. President.
You know what I mean? The other day, man, I was watching the news, man, and they had a group of girls that was coming home from church. I mean, they may say a mosque, but it's church, right? And out of nowhere, this dude, he hopped out his car and he attacked him. And a young girl, she was 17 years old, she lost her life, you know what I mean? And people talked about it for a little bit, and now it's over, you know what I mean? And I just wonder how can we continue to live in a country where things like that happen, and nobody does nothing, you know what I mean? There's no changes, no real changes. I mean, how can you sit here and do nothing? You know what I mean? Kaepernick kneels for the injustice of people of color, and him kneeling gets more attention than what he's kneeling for, you know what I mean? It's time we make changes, baby. June 1203 MG. Dear Mr. President, man. Rock with me. Salute.
I'm saying dear Mr. President. I'm saying dear Mr. President. I'm saying dear Mr.
Number 4. Number 3.
Thought that it would break me, take me off my course. Fell, picked it up, realigned with the source. Back on the horse like a diver. I'm a survivor, victor, picture perfect. Work it till it short circuits. Think it, speak it, claim it, secret. Ain't it's ancient cadence, murder, fragrance, ultraviolet. How I speak when I'm silent. Through my aura, borealis aurora. It's in the bloodline, liquid sunshine, the heart. Know it and I'm doing my part. Sometimes it's switch in a blink like a glitch in the link of a chain. Stay off it. Before I lose, I'm a forfeit. No bowing to the corporate. The devil's in the pulpit. Applaud this, flawless, spit gorgeous. Justice for the lawless, that real rawness. Reckless, but softer than a pearl necklace. We out of balance, let's correct it. Stay connected, we resurrect bliss. Then over on the next mission, the womb must be protected and respected. Ashe, no more victim, that's the mission. Deal with truth every day. Gotta make it over, that's the only way. Go against the grain, work through the pain to get joy. Something to hold on, Myrna Lloyd. Survival of the fit, we intent, brethren. 7 steps to heaven, wafers unleavened, communion with the interstellar. Ginger leather, shooting dice with Christ, looking for my Cinderella. Dana Dane flow, plain Jane no. Punky Brewster with the colorful mainframe glow. Life been bananas, welfare and tannin. Regardless, cry freedom if you really want this. Morphed into a diamond, shining brighter than some Twinkies on a hog. Grinding, creeping through and seeping like a fog. Something inside of me, guiding me, keeps reminding me to rewind and see. No following blindly, the worst is behind me. Every cell of my being responding to freedom. That's where it starts first, feeling DNA burst like a climax all through your body. Such a rush, tight, fast lane in Maseratis. Kept my guard up in case they wanna start stuff. Like little call bluffs, even if you're all tough. Knock your block off, trying to get your rocks off. Turntables, cause we able to win. Unshakable, we rooted firm, breaking them in. Breaking them in, breaking them in.
Number 2.
All I want is loot. All I want is good bad. There ain't nothing new. I want what I want when I want it. Run it up. Run it up. Run it up. Run it up. Give me the loot. Give me the loot. I'm a bad man with a good heart. Triple up my lifespan with these millions. Gotta go and hustle, folks. Just call me bruh man upstairs, 5th floor. Tryna make that salmon. Bread, cheese, lettuce, let it eat. Water clean pink, let it eat. I do what I do, what you call me daddy. Whoa, everybody rap about the same. Whoa, I just wanna get my dad to vanish. Whoa, 3 kids and they know I'm hot. Whoa, y'all can read about it in my pamphlet. Whoa, big deal, sure to get big chills. Rear view, spot 'em at the 10 mils. None feel when I gotta pay bills. I get it. Week after week, up to split it. Money will change up, but acting out, don't be a menace. I don't like these robbing conditions. I don't have a heart for it. We got a big mouth looking like I'm jaws coming. Full big cops looking like I've done it. Wish I did since the bank robbed anyway. You know what I mean.
We all are some fiends that search for the green. They ran out of trees. Why you so mean? I'm out of my means. Wanna suck the life out of me, huh? Fully charged like my back's full of batteries, huh? Audemars on my arm like a fantasy, huh? Well, I'm a man, ain't no such thing as holding me back. All I want is loot. All I want is good bad. There ain't nothing new. I want what I want when I want it, run it up. Run it up. Run it up. Run it up. Rent too high, them that blew my mind. Money too dry, doesn't heat my eyes. Never cry no tears, get back up and strive. Never show no fears unless they all go blind. I can't apply shit, up in my shit. Bring Mojito call exhaustion. Mama screaming out like oh shit. Where we bossing, dollars will be making noises. Keep it focused, like the homie Mo. Vision of the blurry slopes. Slipping and dipping into Avengers, a villain's attention just so I can regret the decision. Mentality driven, the money is healthy, but dysfunctional living is killing the rhythm. I caught the feeling, Holy Ghost and the drilling and dosing without a syringe. And it punctured into the cranium to exact my revenge on the industry. Using my energy to ridden and they don't deserve the loot from everything they are written. But all I want is loot. All I want is good bad. There ain't nothing new. I want what I want when I want it, run it up. Run it up. Run it up. Run it up. All I want is loot. All I want is good bad. There ain't nothing new. I want what I want when I want it, run it up. Run it up. Run it up. Run it up.
Number 1.
I let the truth be told. Yeah. Truth be told. I let the truth be told. I knew you never really meant me well, so no, I'm not surprised at all. I know you're proud, but let you see your wrongs. And not for sure I didn't make the call. Now I'm here where you dropped the ball. But guess I'm just the one they love to hate. Oh yeah, the summer's bittersweet, but I enjoy the taste. I needed way more room to grow, appreciate the space. You know they love you when they do what others only say. Yeah, I'm in a good place. I send my condolences. I know I'm dead to you. Pour out a little liquor, don't forget your rosaries. I did what was best for me, the size supposed to be. I couldn't babysit your work, pay the bills and buy the groceries. And somehow I get all the blame. I point the finger back. You frowning at the mirror, hoping for a smile to crack. Look, if I'm guilty, then I'm guilty. Got no pride with that, but I ain't about to hold my breath. Cause I gotta let the truth be told. I let the truth be told. Let the truth be told. And it's gonna be told. I let the truth be told. Let the truth be told. The truth be told. I let the truth be told. Let the truth be told. And it's gonna be told. I let the truth be told. Let the truth be told. And everybody say they rather know since you like to hear it go. You like to hear it go. Everybody say they rather know since you like to hear it go. You like to hear it go. Everybody say they rather know since you like to hear it go. You like to hear it go. Everybody say they rather know since you like to hear it go. You like to hear it go. I knew you never really meant me well, so no, I'm not surprised at all. I'm back to the old me. You know the one who didn't care for feelings, yeah. You know the one that used to call a dog. I try to change for y'all, I think it's safe to say that I ain't changed. Cause you on the same. You had the recipe for failure, had to get you out my mix. But better way to say the sample, leave the crabs in the barrel. Nowadays, you a leader if you follow. Look, I ain't never really been the type to borrow, but that's another story. They gon' ride with you today, to throw them stones at you first thing tomorrow. Look, I could be 100, but get all the blame from people without all the facts. You smiling at the mirror, hoping it don't frown back. Look, if I'm guilty, then I'm guilty. Got no problem with that, but I ain't about to hold my breath. Cause I gotta let the truth be told. I let the truth be told. Let the truth be told. And it's gonna be told. I let the truth be told. Let the truth be told. The truth be told. I let the truth be told. Let the truth be told. And it's gonna be told. I let the truth be told. Let the truth be told. And everybody say they rather know since you like to hear it go. You like to hear it go. Everybody say they rather know since you like to hear it go. You like to hear it go. Everybody say they rather know since you like to hear it go. You like to hear it go. Everybody say they rather know since you like to hear it go. You like to hear it go. I was wasting away, stuck in a day, losing time, lost in your way. Way too long that I try to save you, when the truth is you'll never change. I was wasting away, stuck in a day, losing time, lost in your way. Way too long that I try to save you. When the truth I let you like you know that I got the truth be told. I let the truth be told. Let the truth be told. And it's gonna be told. I let the truth be told. Let the truth be told. The truth be told. I let the truth be told. Let the truth be told. And it's gonna be told. I let the truth be told. Let the truth be told. And everybody say they rather know since you like to hear it go. You like to hear it go. Everybody say they rather know since you like to hear it go. You like to hear it go. Everybody say they rather know since you like to hear it go. You like to hear it go. Everybody say they rather know since you like to hear it go. You like to hear it go.
Welcome back to the Balancing Act Radio Show, hosted by AJ Throwback, only on WinDCRadio.com and the WinDC Radio app, powered by GoWin.media.
Yeah, that wraps up our top 10 of the year, the top 10 for the Win year-end countdown. At number 5, we had June the Kid featuring Reese with Dear Mr. President. Number 4, Tease, who surged up toward the end of the year with Loved You. Number 3, Star featuring Booty the Biz with Unbreakable. Number 2, Don B the Artist with Loop. And at number 1, our 5-time back-to-back months Arsonist of the Month, who just had his song retired, BZ Archibald with Truth Be Told. Definitely want to send some birthday shout-outs to all the people, since we're not going to be here next Wednesday. We'll be back January 9th, but I wanted to make sure I covered all the birthdays from the day until our next show. So shout out Miss Lady of the Go Win Radio Show. Her birthday is tomorrow. King Mars and Aretha, their birthdays are Saturday. David Green, January 2nd, shout out to him. Aaron, my man Aaron, I hope you was listening for that number 1, because we are very much in agreement on that. Kelly Gaines and Triana celebrating birthday January 3rd. My homegirl Kay, she'll be celebrating birthday January 4th. Tiffany Willis, Shonda, Joyce, and Heather Pinckney celebrating birthdays January 5th. My man Saint Nemesis and Yvonne, they will be celebrating birthdays January 6th. My cousin Janan and DJ Anonymous, who I was on Sports Music Biz podcast with him, they'll be celebrating birthdays January 7th. Miss Bellamy, Sideshow Marley's mom, huge supporter of the show, become a huge supporter of the show. And DC's own Smoke D will be celebrating birthdays on January 8th. So shout out to all the Capricorns there as Capricorn season rolls along. Let me read a few of these while I have a little bit of time left. So the favorite albums of 2018. So let's see. Mika, she says KOD, J. Cole, Invasion of Privacy, Cardi B, Kamikaze, Eminem, Everything Is Love, Jay-Z and B, and can't forget Victory Lap, Nipsey Hussle. My man K. Taylor, he said Victory Lap, Prime 2, Book of Ryan, Dime Trap, Stream of Thought, Volume 1. So starting to see a theme here. My main man Debo Wayne, he just said Victory Lap. Shamikia, shout out Shamikia, said Cardi B, Invasion of Privacy. That's it. My man Aaron, of course, he said Victory Lap. Melvin, he said Apollo Brown and Joel Ortiz, Mona Lisa, and Anderson Pop, Oxnard. And he also says Swiss Beats album, which I haven't heard yet. I need to check that out. Let's see. Michael, I don't know what it's Pasciola. Please let me know how you pronounce your name, bro. Kamasi Washington, Heaven and Earth, Black Thought, Streams of Thought, Volume 2, Master Ace and Marco Polo, A Brooklyn Story, among others. My main man Cecil, he said, damn, too many. Gunplay, Westside Gun, Benny, Conway, J. Cole, Cardi, Meek, Black Thought, Dave East and Styles, Nipsey, Summer Walker, Tiana Taylor, Pusha, Planet Asia. My man Oliver commented on the post. Appreciate you, Oliver. He gave some much different albums he has. He had Chemical Brothers, Born of Echoes, The Breeders, All Nerve, Vodun, Ascend, Underworld, Iggy Pop, T-Time Dub, Encounters, MGMT, Little Dark Ages, 9 Inch Nails, Bad Witch, and Alice in Chains, Rain or Fog. I need to check out every last one of those albums. I always like to listen to different things. And My man Willis said Young Dolph role model. So I appreciate everybody who contributed their favorite albums of 2018. All right, so let's close out on this right here.
Words of wisdom to get you through the rest of your week. These are the bars for life.
So these bars for life are going to get you not only through the rest of your week, but also as we approach a new year. So Wise Words and Quotes author Vern McClellan once said, "What the new year brings to you will depend a great deal on what you bring to the new year." And that, I mean, it says it all. I know the attitude that I developed heading into this new year was developed months ago. 2016 was a trash year. Like, I think a lot of people I know just will, that's the consensus. It was not a good year. 2017, much better improvement. Certain things started to happen. I started to get my love back for so many different things. My marriage started improving. My relationship, my family life was getting better. And my music career started taking off once again. And then I came back to radio. This year, made some adjustments, made some changes for the better to further add on the things that were happening in 2017. And it's just in my spirit. Like, God has just been putting it on my heart. 2019 will be the year of abundance, or it is the year of abundance. I'm claiming it. It is already as if I'm speaking life into it, you know. So I encourage everybody out there to do the same. Whatever you went through in 2018, leave it in 2018. If you hold on to it, that's what you're gonna bring to the new year. If you change your attitude toward things and change your mindset, you're gonna see that same abundance. Like, I just know so many people who are claiming the same over their lives. They're claiming abundance. They're claiming great things happening over their lives. And I encourage that of each and every last one of you who are watching. I appreciate everybody who tuned in, who listened, who shouted out, who participated in the live, who shared, who commented, just have been a part of this Team Bars movement. I appreciate every last one of you for what you contribute every single week. I love every last one of y'all. Y'all helped to make these first 6 months of bars memorable and important, and y'all are my motivation every single week. As much as this is the official Hump Day motivation for the DMV and beyond, y'all keep me going with just the love that y'all show me every single week. So I appreciate everybody who tuned in. Definitely got to send a couple final shout outs. Shout out sis Aisha, Neen. I see you peek your head in. Neen and Becky. Let's be clear. Every other Tuesday, along with Mike's Corner, 6 to 8 p.m. right here on WinDCRadio.com. So I appreciate everybody who tuned in. Meek, I seen you. Michael, I seen you as well. So shout out to you. And Larry King, I know you peeked your head in, so I appreciate you tuning in. And I think that covers everybody who I saw tune in. And once again, shout out to my missus, shout out to my mama, shout out to everybody out there. So we gotta close this show with a very appropriate song. It's in the title. It was pretty much the countdown. And this is the attitude going into the new year. This is Pat P with For the Win. This is the official Hump Day motivation for the DMV and beyond. Thank you for making this a great 2018. See y'all 2019, January 8th. Make sure y'all tune in for that show. We are scheduled to have Bree London of PGMG. She's coming in, talk about her music, so make sure y'all tune in to that show. I'm sorry, January 9th. January 9th, that's our next show in 2019. Make sure y'all tune in. Once again, this is the official Hump Day motivation for the DMV and beyond. Y'all take care, be blessed, be safe. Have a happy, happy New Year. Peace.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what they want from me. But I know what I want from me. I'm out here for that win. Check. Like, I'm all in it. My divine gift standing tall in it. I'm the owner of my journey, not it all rented. Now to slave the shortcomings, that's a poor finish. Once I play my ace, these jokers all finished. I'm a diamond in the rough with the heart of a king. Jack, call a spade, play my card if that thing black. All about my calling, don't wait up for the